Okay, so the Suicide Squad, it's finally here. I don't know how long we've been waiting for this, but I feel like it's been a while. Um, is it good? Yes, yeah. Compared to the previous one, it's pretty solid. James Gunn does a great job. Obviously, he reigns supreme at Marvel because of Guardians 2, maybe not as much, but and I'm pretty sure he must have wrote some of the bits from Infinity War because it's got him written all over it. Obviously, he's done things in the past like Super with Rainn Wilson, brilliant as well. It just shows he can do dark and gritty. Before obviously DC hired him, obviously Marvel let him go and then brought him back. But that kind of gave DC the win they needed, and I think that's what this is. The Suicide Squad is definitely a win. Again, it's a group of characters put together who don't get along, but end up getting along in this one. While in the first one they get along okay-ish. It kind of wraps up very sentimental, like they're a family unit in the end, but it doesn't feel earned. Whereas this one it does, and I think that's probably more the acting and the directing of this film. Um, you've got great characters. Some characters return. You've got Margot Robbie, Joel Kinnaman, and I think Jai Courtney returns as well. I think. Oh, and I can't remember who plays Amanda Waller, but Amanda Waller, her actress, is back. So those four are back recurring, but the rest is a whole brand new Suicide Squad. You've got Idris Elba, Sylvester Stallone plays a role, John Cena, and they all kind of, in their own right, knock it out of the park. It's very much an ensemble film, but you kind of see the highlights of each character getting their moment, and I think each character does get a well-defined moment to show what their kind of characteristics are. Obviously you've got Idris Elba's Bloodsport. He's kind of got the daughter issues, which again it kind of reeks of Deadshot and Will Smith, but he does it with so much kind of grit to it that Will Smith just couldn't really carry. Will Smith's a great actor, but his charisma is just too high for a down and dirty criminal. Margot Robbie again, brilliant as always as Harley Quinn. I can't fault her on that, and her character seems more well written in this time, especially compared to like Birds of Prey. No, Birds of Prey was alright, but again, if you compare it to the original Suicide Squad, completely different story. I'll stop harping on Birds of Prey now, but that was the right film. Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, it just shines where the first one didn't. In the characters, in the music, definitely the music. The music's a lot more. It flows better with the film and what's actually happening on the screen rather than, oh look, Spirit in the Sky is playing. Oh look, there's helicopters in the sky. That was about as linked as they were. In this one, there's more to it, and I appreciate that a lot more. Again, that's very much James Gunn's influence. There's so many characters in this film. Nathan Fillion's in the film. Peter Capaldi is in this film. Each character kind of has their moment to kind of give what their character's all about. A lot of the times why they're named, what they're named, and it just kind of shows that what DC property can be in the hands of someone who actually looks at the characters that they have and treats them with respect. Not saying that David Ayer didn't, but obviously I felt it was more about the edgy tone in that film. Again, it was more kind of the studio's input, regardless of what David Ayer filmed, that kind of made that film what it was. But this one, it feels very much like James Gunn's Suicide Squad. This is what he would do. This is what the characters from the comic books that he read would do. Obviously, he's put King Shark in. King Shark is done, I think, as kind of an anti what Killer Croc was. Killer Croc was prosthetically kind of given that weird look with their head. The head was ginormous, and I don't understand it. But obviously, with King Shark, it's a fully CGI character voiced by Sylvester Stallone, and you can't go wrong with that. Again, John Cena, he's brilliant in this. Wrestler's gone, actor. Apparently, James Gunn knows how to work them. Not that, again, I'd say all these wrestlers turned actors have done great jobs. I mean, you've got Wayne The Rock Johnson, John Cena, Dave Bautista, all of them. They just seem to know how to act, which is really weird. Because you wouldn't expect it. I mean, I guess, yes, wrestling is fake and acting and all that, but still, the charisma they bring to the screen is amazing. Hopping on about all these characters, there are so many to talk about. Ratcatcher 2, I think her name is Daniela Melchior. She's brilliant as well. She obviously plays off Idris Elba's character to a point where I'd say it elevates his character as well a bit more. Not that he doesn't. I think it would be a mix of Bloodsport and maybe King Shark could kind of steal the show for me. I think it's between those two. I couldn't. Again, Margot Robbie's brilliant as well. There's just so many good characters in this one. I don't think that Peter Capaldi got as much as I thought he was going to get. Saying that, David, is it Dastmalchian? David Dastmalchian, he plays Polka Dot Man. Polka Dot Man, brilliant in this. Rick Flag, one of the recurring characters, he does a great job. Joel Kinnaman, I hate Joel Kinnaman usually, except this and Outward Carbon is changing my mind a little bit. Rick Flag was boring military guy in the first one, but in this one, he stands out more. Like, maybe it's the yellow shirt, I couldn't tell you. But the fact is, these characters are standing out on the screen in a way that makes you care. At the end of the film, you do care about the characters that are on the screen and have survived. There's a lot of death. A lot of characters do die in this film, and I think that is very much James Gunn's decision on why there is such a large cast. One thing that I was kind of concerned about when I saw the whole cast list on one of the trailers, where it bounced all the names on there, and you thought, how are they going to do this justice? They do. No pun intended, not the Justice League. But this film is good. I really would recommend it. I know a lot of people throwing around the fact that it could be DC's best film. It's not exactly a hard thing to do with DC's track list, essentially. When you're looking at, obviously, the DCEU, Dark Knight pretty much stands alone. But when you're looking at the Snyderverse and what the DCEU has been before, maybe this and Justice League are a step in the right direction, and I'd highly recommend the Suicide Squad. It's got heart. It's got a lot of dark and gritty blood and gore, and that is, I think, again something where it was, I'd say, sorely missed from the first iteration of this. This is what I imagined it would be when they first said the Suicide Squad was getting a movie. I mean, from the comics and the animated shows I've seen of the Suicide Squad, they are a ragtag group of criminals and villains that have been thrown together and have to get the job done. And this showcases that brilliantly. Bloodsport, Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, King Shark, Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man, the Javelin, is it TDK, the Detachable Kid? All of these characters are brilliant, and I really want to see more of them. So please, DC, let James Gunn direct another Suicide Squad film, and I will watch it. I promise you that. Maybe if you want to release a David Ayer cut, I would be slightly interested to see what he did with it. But let's leave it with James Gunn now. But yeah, ciao for now.